So somehow it was arranged that an army truck with armed soldiers with big rifles take us to the government office to register the land, because we had a lot of money that we were carrying with us in order to pay all the taxes, et cetera, et cetera. So when we came back to Calcutta, we stopped at the land actually, and so Jayapataka Maharaj he was a brahmachari then, and he was living on the land very austerely in a little hut. But when we came back to Calcutta, it was very late, but there was a light on in Srila Prabhupada's room, and his servant told him that we had arrived, and he called us into his room, and he was very ecstatic that the Mayapur land had been purchase had been completed. So, I had great opportunities to in Srila Prabhupada's service by his grace. He allows us to serve him, but actually he is serving us by engaging us in his service, allowing us to engage in devotional service and pulling us back to home, back to Godhead. When he was in New York, in the very beginning, before 26 Second Avenue was rented for meetings, he was having meetings in many different places, wherever he could get an audience to canvass, to go back to home, back to Godhead. And he wrote he used to write, about the meetings, the timings and everything. And he used to have meetings on West 72nd Street at a place that I believe a friend of his, Dr. Misra, was staying in. And he wrote a notice about the meeting and the timing, and he said, please take advantage of this great opportunity. So that was his mission. And he underlined the word opportunity. That we're given the opportunity. Krishna's pure devotees are giving us the opportunity to go back to home, back to Godhead. But we have to make that choice. Srila Prabhupada came here and he opened a portal to the spiritual world. And in fact, when in Henry Street in New York, when he used to visit, he would say, and there was so much devotional service going on there, because ISKCON Press was also part of the Henry Street community. So all the devotees working on his books were there. So Prabhupada used to say, this is the Vaikuntha atmosphere. So wherever Srila Prabhupada is, or was, is the Vaikuntha atmosphere. And I believe he has visited Boston, correct, Molly? He visited this temple?
No, he did not. He visited the other, both other temples.
Which wasn't in existence?
Yeah, 90...
74, we got this one.
No.
He came, but he came in 68.
40 North Beacon Street.
Oh yeah, he came in 68, 71.
Before that, in Glenville Avenue, 90 Glenville Avenue.
First was 95.
Yeah, no.
But wherever he is worshipped, that is the Vaikuntha atmosphere. Because when we have Gaur Arti, it's about the devotees having Arti on the banks of the Ganges for Lord Chaitanya. And that Arti is actually taking place during the time that we have it. And if one develops one's spiritual eyes, one can enter the spiritual world during such times. And that's Prabhupada's mission. He's opening the door for us to enter the spiritual world. But we still have to walk through that doorway on our own, by our own choice. We have a certain amount of free will, as it is, to exercise to become fully Krishna conscious. So that's the mission of this lifetime to finish up our time here and take advantage of the karmic, our karmic legacy that has given us the opportunity to become Krishna conscious. You know, some people would rather, spend the day in the park, but, the few people who are actually serious about spiritual life, some of them are here. And there's something inside them that is pushing them to develop their Krishna consciousness. So this is our opportunity, like Prabhupada said, this is a great opportunity. I mean, how often does a pure devotee come and spread his message and make it available to everyone? Srila Prabhupada, there's the book Bhagavatam, which we study and read, and there's the person Bhagavatam, which is the embodiment of the book. And anyone who has been with Srila Prabhupada knows that 24 hours a day he's engaged in Krishna service and preaching the message of Krishna. Like Lord Chaitanya said, Tadida Krishna Upadesh. Preach the message of Krishna all over the world. The Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. So that was Prabhupada's mission, and that's all he did. He didn't do anything different behind closed doors. At night he used to cry for the suffering of the conditioned souls. He felt it so strongly. He would read Srimad Bhagavatam, he would read the 7th canto over and over again about Prahlad Maharaj and how he had sympathy for all the souls that were not Krishna conscious. And he didn't want to go back to Godhead alone. He wanted the others to come with him and become Krishna conscious. So this is the symptom of the pure devotee. And Srila Prabhupada exemplified that. And we see his potency today. Like they say, Vaishnavas don't die, they live forever in the sound in their teachings. So he's spreading his teachings more today than he was 50 years ago. It's growing exponentially, not mathematically, exponentially. You can see in India, it's over 200 temples. And even in a place, Prabhupada sent me to Japan with Sudama Prabhu. And Sudama Prabhu is still teaching me even though he passed away some years ago. I was listening to a recording he made, and he was talking about, he met with Prabhupada, and he was not in a good frame of mind. And he said, Prabhupada, I'm not like your other disciples. I don't quote verses from the Shastras like they do, And Prabhupada said, no, that's not important. He said, you have love for Krishna. Krishna sees your love. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Patram Pushlam Talatayam Yomi. Where's that verse?
You may Bhakta Prachita. 9 chapters.
Oh, wait, in the back. Patram Pushlam Talatayam Yomi Panasiti Taraham Bhakti Param Asanami Prabhat Manaha. So if you offer me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, water, I will accept it. But if there's no devotion, Krishna is not interested in any of your offerings. You could offer him $1 billion. It wouldn't impress him. It's only your love and devotion that he wants. So that's our way to connect with Krishna. We don't have to be expert in Sanskrit, but we do have to develop our love. And when I joined the temple in 26 Second Avenue. Actually, I was at New York University, as were a few other devotees, or people who later became devotees. And in one of my courses, I studied Bhagavad Gita, but not in the way of a devotee, because there weren't any purports. It was just the raw translation. But I was thinking to myself that how does one? This is such a beautiful philosophy, because I was a literature and philosophy major. I said, this is such a beautiful philosophy. How does one live it? You know? And in the Bhagavad Gita itself, Krishna says what is necessary. He says, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So, the Prabhupada says in his lectures, he said even reading one sentence of Bhagavad Gita can change your life. Not even a full paragraph, not even a full chapter, but even just one sentence can transform your life. And in the Bhagavad Gita is very complete. So I used to see in the Village Voice, which is a publication in New York City that was very popular, it had. And there were events listed there, people would advertise events. And one event was taking place at Tompkins Square Park. And it was the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. And I saw that many times. And I said, wow, that sounds really nice. But at that time, my life, I was going to, my department was in the Bronx at University Heights. So it was about an hour subway ride to get downtown. And to be there at 7 a.m. on Saturday or Sunday morning was beyond me at that point. But a godbrother of mine, his name was Paramananda Das, and his wife Sachibama became devotees. And they stopped by my apartment one time and brought me some prasadam. And, told me a little bit about the temple on 26 Second Avenue. So I finally arranged to move down in the East Village, where I was be close to the temple. And, after passing the temple, I was a little hesitant to go inside, at first. But the chanting just was so, it just was like a magnet, kept drawing me back. And I finally, entered and met the devotees and became addicted to prasadam, etc. And, I joined the mission there. But just seeing A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami and Hare Krishna in print, that changed my life.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I have two questions. One is, in the beginning you were saying...
Let him finish, maybe I can...
No, go ahead.
Okay. If in the beginning you were saying, if the spirituality is not enough in this life, then it will continue in the next life. That's the question. So, like sadhus and Swamijis who does 24 hours of meditation and other stuff, completely devoted to the thing. But ordinary, normal people, not able to do that kind of, devotion. But on a scale 1 to 10, where do you draw a line? The follow-up question to that is, for example, a lot of the Swamijis and other people, they use beads and meditate upon it. And a common man, like taking shower after shower, say chanting Mahamantra, and whatever the time they have before they walk out of the house, Mahamantra. So how how do on a scale 1 to 10, where is the optimum? Where is sufficient? There is a
I think you have to organize your life. I mean, in India, a lot of the, even well-to-do people, they have a certain part of the day. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, at the time of death, one must, if one thinks of me at the time of death, he will come to me. So you have to kind of try to organize your life so when your time comes, you'll be among devotees and chanting the holy name. Because, I mean, you know that there's billions of dollars being spent on estate planning for the material things of life. But the material things of life, first of all, you never brought anything when you came into this world. And no one has ever taken anything out of this world when they left. So why are they wasting billions of dollars with these plans? What about planning for the soul? I mean, every religion says there's heaven, there's an eternal life, in almost all religions, in Islam, in Hinduism, in Christianity, Buddhism. They all accept that. But who's planning for it? Who's making plans? I mean, yeah, when you die, then they talk about it, when they give you your eulogy. But who's planning before you die? So that needs to be developed. That's part of the future for the Krishna consciousness movement. To make people aware of their spiritual identity, because mostly they still think they're this body. Even though their religion says, there's a soul, and that, the soul is eternal. They haven't really processed it. It's only theoretical for them. They haven't realized it. But that's why Krishna says you must surrender to a spiritual master who knows the truth, because he can guide you to the next step. I mean, theoretical knowledge is fine, but it's not enough. It's only like a marker saying this is what you should do.
Individual connection, individual sadhana.
Right. But you need to do that by, locating a spiritual master, choosing a spiritual master who's competent to liberate you. Or go to school. How much time?
15 more. You can travel around four more countries.
So Srila Prabhupada, he used to like to, his personal service to him was important, but to really bless his disciple, he would take that personal servant and send him away to preach for him. Jari Dasa Krishna. The message, the instruction of Lord Chaitanya, teach Bhagavad Gita all over the world, become a spiritual master. So, Brahmananda Maharaj, who was my mentor, he went to my school also. He was my mentor in New York. Prabhupada told him to go to Africa, and he went. Because that's the order of the spiritual master. So, and now Africa is thriving with temples. I went to Malaysia. We had a donation of land for a temple when I was there. And now it's been developed. It's a Muslim country. So it's very difficult there. But it does have a small population of Indian origin people also. And now there's one big temple that's authorized by the government, and there's like 40 preaching centers. Kind of like, their status is a little shady, But you can see how it's spread, even in a Muslim country. And I was the first devotee to go to Australia. I was in Japan actually with Sudan. And then an Australian couple had offered to help, start a temple there by providing help for a devotee upon entry. So I put in papers to immigrate to Australia from Japan, and I went there, and these people were very nice, but they were located in a suburb. There weren't many people there. After Japan, it seemed like someone had eliminated all the people, because it was like, you go outside, there's no one there, Even at the train station, hardly anyone. So it was so underpopulated. So I had to move into Sydney. And so what did I do when I went into Sydney? I followed Prabhupada's example. He's teaching us by example. So I sat down in a park, like Srila Prabhupada gave the example in Tompkins Square Park, just sit down and chant. And then he sent his next personal servant, Upendra Prabhu, to join me. And Upendra Prabhu was a little upset because I was living in a vacant house. The squatting was quite popular in Sydney at the time, they called it. But so we rented a place in Potts Point, a little house. And it was actually very nice. And we started programs there. But we started out by just chanting in the park. And then we didn't have any books to distribute because I couldn't carry much from Japan. So I located, Macmillan Company had an office in Australia because it's an English-speaking country. So Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, the original publication, the abridged version, actually, I located some in Sydney, so I bought all that I could. And we were able to distribute them while we waited for more books to be sent. But, just following Prabhupada's example and sitting down and chanting, that led to everything. Now Australia is thriving, even New Zealand. We had one, when I was there in Australia, we had one devotee from New Zealand. So I'm thinking maybe he went to New Zealand, because he was familiar with it and opened the center there. But Australia, so many devotees there now. We started a farm. I sent a devotee around to look for a suitable place for a community, and we could have cows, etc., etc. And he traveled around, and he finally found this property in Murwillumbah. It's called New Govardhan now. It's over 1,000 acres, and they have restaurants. It's near what they call the Gold Coast, which is like beaches. It's a very popular tourist area in New South Wales. So it's going on very nicely. But it's like an acorn is very tiny, but an oak tree is very huge. The seeds of Krishna consciousness are very tiny. But Prabhupada has spread them, and now they're taking root, and flowering, like it's described, the creeper of bhakti must be nourished for it to grow strong, so we see how Krishna consciousness is now spreading exponentially. But this is all because Srila Prabhupada is still present with us, and he's guiding us. So we simply he's holding the door open. We simply have to walk through with the tools that he's given us. And it's really amazing just to see how it's growing. People are appreciating Srila Prabhupada so much.
How long you were there in Australia?
I was there for about 6 months. I had to return to New York because when I was traveling, they had sent me a notice from the draft to about Vietnam. And because I was kept traveling, it never caught up with me. So they filed a court case in New York, the federal courts. So I had to go back there to respond to it. So that's when I became involved with ISKCON Press and the Henry Street Temple.
So then who was there in Australia then?
Oh, I had a lot of devotees there. Charu was there, who became a devotee in Australia when I was there.
Really?
Yeah. It was the main, there was Korma Das.
Oh, yes,
Everyone's
yes.
heard of Korma.
Yeah.
Such a likable person.
Yeah. So were you there when Char Prabhu and Kurma Prabhu joined?
Yeah, him and his wife, what's her name? I forget her name.
Yeah, I
She
forgot.
was English,
Yes.
and he was American. And they were like hippies traveling around, you know. And yeah, he joined, now he's in Arizona, I believe.
No, he's in Utah. Yes.
Utah. But yeah, he's done a lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
Have you met him?
Yeah, of course, he was here.
Well, oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
We're good friends. I mean, of course, I'm an admirer, not a
He's a
friend.
little intense.
Yes.
He was a little intense.
Oh, I'm great.
But a good devotee.
Yeah. Okay, then what happened after that?
Oh, there was another devotee, Tirthapada,
Ah.
who came from England to join us to help out. And when we were at the park that I mentioned where I had started chanting, we had like it was like hundreds of people around one time, and Tirthapada came up to say something to people because he had been a devotee for quite some time. And when they heard his English accent, they made fun of him and said, "Hey, he's a Laimi." You know, he was because of his English accent. But he was also a good devotee. And there was a woman who joined us. She was an actress on TV, quite well known, and she devoted her life to Krishna consciousness.
Is she one who married
I married her to Burja.
Yes, she's a.
I left them in Hong Kong, and she probably hates me for it.
Oh. So
But
you're
you're in
there.
Australia now. I spoke with her recently. She's doing very well.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Very, very devoted person. Gave up a fancy career to become a devotee.
So when did Guruji and Prabhu join then?
Burjan?
Did he join in Australia or somewhere else?
So Burjan was joined in Buffalo,
Oh,
New
Buffalo.
York.
So he wasn't there.
No, he wasn't there.
Okay.
No, I married him, and then I took them to I think he came to Hong Kong, and I married him too, and his wife.
So then where was his wife? His wife was still in Australia?
That's a good question now. It's not actually that clear. I know, I think I married them in Hong Kong,
Okay.
but where they were situated before that is not exactly clear.
Okay.
I think his wife, once it was arranged, she arranged to come from Australia.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
She wasn't preaching with us, opening centers.
So once from Australia you came to Hindu Street, to New York, and then after that what happened?
No, later, but previous visit to Australia with Prabhupada, I went to India, and that's when I was involved with the Mayapur land.
Oh.
At that time.
So okay, let's back up a little bit. So when you were in Australia, when you were preaching, Srila Prabhupada,
Sridhar was in Japan.
did
He maintained Japan.
Srila Prabhupada visit that time?
Visit where? Australia?
Australia.
No, he visited later. When I was in Malaysia, I went to Singapore actually. No, from Hong Kong with Borjan, I was on a cargo ship, like Prabhupada traveled on a cargo ship. But I was on a cargo ship from Hong Kong to Singapore. And then I started, then Hanuman and Amoga Das joined me. And we were distributing a lot of books in Singapore and Malaysia. But the Singapore government was very strict and they didn't like us. We had been given this huge mansion to stay in. It was really amazing. And we were living in for some time in Singapore.
Very true. So why don't you sequentially tell us, like, you know, when, so once you were in, first you were in Australia. After that, how, like,
First Japan,
Yeah.
then Australia, then New York,
industry, okay.
then back to Asia, India. I'd say I went to India because I know I was in New Delhi Pandal, Bombay Pandal,
Oh, you were there in all Pandal.
and Calcutta Pandal in near what's the road? What's that road in Calcutta?
Albert Road.
What?
Albert Road?
No, the road
Yeah.
with the Victoria Monument.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Forget the name of it.
That's fine.
But they have electric tram that goes up.
Yes.
Very busy. And yeah, we had the Pandal in that park. It really had 40,000 people the first time. It was amazing. Really amazing. And in New Delhi, Dinanath was leading. You can still hear the kirtans. You listen to the New Delhi kirtan tapes. Dinanath, really fantastic kirtans. Yeah, we're on this huge platform where Prabhupada would speak from, and I was acting as his personal servant then and secretary. So, you know, and the devotees would be chanting, be shaking, the whole thing would be shaking. Oh,
No.
glory to Prabhupada. Any other
Alright.
questions?
The question is that you go to, we will start again, resume again until Radhesham Prabhu comes after 6:30. We'll end the Aarti little early, just today an exception.
Yeah, think
Just
of
for
any
the Balimardan.
questions you guys want to ask.
Haribo, let's give a big round of applause. Jai Shri Radha Gopal ki jai, Shri Jagannath Mandir Sundar Maharaj ki, Shri Bharti ki jai. Yes, Balimardan Prabhu is the one of the Srila Prabhupada's very rare disciples. Because of him, the ISKCON in Australia, ISKCON in Malaysia, ISKCON in Singapore, all the different places. It's like yes, in Japan is the one. Yes, very established, and now they are very flourishing temples there. So thank you, dear Prabhu. We would not end this session. We will again continue until Radhesham Prabhu comes. Okay, so let's begin the prayers today. So everyone, please come forward. And please stay tuned for more details from His Grace Balimardan Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Respond.